This is why we don't talk about serious things on this channel. For today's video, I'm going to be running you through all of my current tattoos. I currently have 3 tattoos that all have a significant meaning to me. So I thought for today's video, I would sit down and kind of explain them to you. So hopefully you can get a better understanding of who I am and what I've been through and what these tattoos mean to me. I do also quickly just want to make a disclaimer, a trigger warning. I will more than likely talk about self-harm, depression, anxiety, and all of those topics as a whole in this video. And if that makes you uncomfortable or triggers you, I completely understand. Let me know in a comment and I will see you next week. So with saying all of that, if you do like this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up and let me know in a comment down below what tattoo you think I should get next. Also, if you're new, please don't forget to subscribe. Our goal is 1K by October. I upload new videos at least 1 to 2 times every single week. So with all that being said, I hope that you enjoy this video, and if you'd like to learn a little bit about my tattoos and what they mean, then just keep on watching. So the very first tattoo that I got post first breakup. And I feel like that just screams really bad tattoo, really bad idea. So that is exactly what I did. So I think at the time I was 19. I'm trying to think. Yeah, it was either 19 or 20. I was in a long-term relationship with a guy. So that relationship was obviously the very first relationship that I had. It was extremely unhealthy. I was cheated on the whole entire time. I was pressured into doing things that I didn't want to do. So that whole relationship took a massive toll on my mental health. So that's kind of a general preface story as to what the lead up was before I actually got this tattoo. So that relationship ended and I felt this massive weight come off my shoulders, which I think if you're in a relationship and you do break up or separate from that partner and you feel free and you feel a weight lifted off your shoulders, that's a sign that that shit was toxic. I booked a tattoo the week after. Now, I wouldn't recommend this, even though getting a tattoo was something that I had thought about obviously for years and years, and I knew what I'd wanted. I definitely didn't do my research on the artist, and I went to not only the cheapest place that I could find, but the place that could fit me in the quickest. The guy was absolutely lovely, don't get me wrong, but I went in there with a very strict idea on what I wanted. I wanted a tiny little camera. I wanted it to be one line. I wanted it to be very abstract, and I even had like reference photos of exactly what I wanted from Pinterest. I went in, he completely changed the design to copy and paste a realistic camera pretty much onto my arm. Moral of the story, this is the tattoo that I have been left with. All of the lines have bled together, like it's all bumpy as well. Like I don't think technically he did it properly because tattoos aren't supposed to be like bumpy on your skin. I'm just gonna put it away now. The meaning behind the actual camera though is obviously creating, filming, making videos, YouTube, like all of that stuff. And whenever I tell people the meaning of this tattoo, they're like, oh my God, you got a tattoo for your camera, you got a tattoo for YouTube. But little do people know, YouTube and filmmaking as well as photography and my camera, it literally saved my life. If I didn't have my camera and if I didn't have the ability to sit down, press record and speak my feelings and my emotions through not only that whole breakup phase, but my whole entire life up to now, no matter how cheesy it might sound, like my camera has been my best friend my whole entire life. And when I was going through some of my darkest days, I would just sit down and press record. I would speak and like verbalize every single feeling that I was feeling, and it would make me feel so much better. I think if I didn't have this outlet and I didn't feel like I could talk to you guys or my camera, I wouldn't have had anyone to talk to. That's why I got it, and it's another reason why it's so difficult for me to choose whether I want to get it lasered off or not. The only thing that stops me from getting it lasered off is the meaning and the timing that I got it done, I don't know, like even though I freaking hate the design, I love everything that it stands for. So the second tattoo that I have is a little plane on my ankle. So the story behind this tattoo. So I got it the very first time that I traveled on an airplane on my own, and also the very first trip that I went on my own. So the plane symbolizes the fact that bitch, you did that. You booked your tickets on your own, you got on a plane on your own, and you went to a different state on your own. And doing that was such a big deal to me because I was so codependent on my partner in my previous relationship. So yeah, the trip as a whole was extremely important to me for not only the fact that I was doing it on my own, but it proved to myself that I can do it on my own. I proved to myself that I didn't need that person. I proved to myself that I am capable of traveling on my own. I don't know, I really wanted to get something to commemorate that. And not only that, but also to remind me to keep going. Like, you've done this once, you can do it again and again and again. And I don't know, every time I put my shoes on to go somewhere, it's just kind of a reminder, like, you can go so much further. Like, you can do it. So the very last tattoo that I have, and the most recent one to today, is this little moth right here. I am beyond obsessed with the design of it. I went to the tattoo artist that I'm obsessed with, Jess. She is unbelievably amazing. We didn't really go off one particular image because, once again, artists don't really like to do that. They don't like to copy anyone else's work. I sent her pictures of moths. I sent her pictures of like tribal line art because I really wanted it to have that type of vibe in it as well. So I think I ended up sending her about 3 or 4 images that I wanted her to kind of just mash together and make her own. I completely had faith and trust in her. It's like she just took a little sneak peek into my brain and knew exactly the vision that I was thinking of for it. I took one look at it and I was like, it's perfect. She was like, oh, we can change anything that you want. Like, if you want me to change little bits here and there. And I'm like, no, like, it is honestly perfect. I am so obsessed with it. So the meaning behind this one. A lot of people think that it's a butterfly, which it's not. It's a moth. I just wanted to make sure that she did it like true to who I am, so it's very feminine. So around the time that I got this done, I was going through one of the hardest times that I've ever been through in my whole entire life. I was going through a lot in terms of figuring out who I am, what my sexuality was, who I liked, who I didn't like. If you too have struggled with your sexuality and your identity and trying to figure out who you like, who you don't like, I'm sure you can relate. I also was going through a lot with my family and me coming to terms with my sexuality, and a lot of my family not really accepting or understanding that. I think me coming out really took a lot of my family by surprise, and they didn't really know how to react or what to do, which in turn created a lot of unhealthy situations at home. I went through so much a year and a half ago, and serious topics make me uncomfortable. With everything that I was going through and the mental state that I was in, I ended up self-harming, which is something that I have never really spoken about, or I don't know, it's awkward for me to talk about because it's something that I went through on my own, and something that I never really told anyone, and something that very, very, very few people knew. I used to wear massive puffer jackets to work in the middle of summer, and I would sweat my fucking ass off because I was embarrassed and I didn't want people to ask questions. I didn't want anyone to be concerned because at the end of the day, I wasn't hurting myself because I wanted to die. I was hurting myself because I felt like I deserved it. I also was hurting myself because the physical pain felt so much better, and it distracted me from all of the emotional pain that I was feeling, which is so fucked up. If you too feel like that, and if you're going through something like that currently, please look in the description box below. I will have as many helplines and resources that I can down there for you to talk to someone. I genuinely think that was my problem. I had no one to talk to about the pain that I was feeling. It's so insane for me to sit here and talk about now. It's insane, it's crazy. I've come so far, and I genuinely would never, ever, ever put myself in that situation again. So the reasoning and the logic behind the tattoo: moths always always look for the light. They're always attracted to the light. So I wanted to get a moth to remind me to always look for the light in any shitty situation. And it reminds me that there is light at the end of the tunnel. There is always a sunnier day at the end of the week. That is the reasoning behind the moth. The placement of it is obviously on my forearm, which did help to cover up a lot of scarring that I had. It wasn't like terrible, but it was something that I was always self-conscious of and aware of. So yeah, that's pretty much the whole entire meaning and explanation behind that one. It's a super long one, but it's also super meaningful to me. So with all that being said, this is the end of my video. I feel weird leaving it on a sadder note. I really hope that this video gave you a little bit more of an insight into who I am as a person, and the fact that every single human being has been through shit and goes through shit every single day. I don't want this video to be like, oh my god, like I feel bad for you type of thing. I genuinely want it to be a safe place for people who might be struggling or going through a similar thing. So if you are going through anything that I talked about in this video, I will, like I said, have heaps and heaps of links in the description box below that you can click on and hopefully find help through there. If not, my DMs are always open on Instagram. I'm always just one message away. It's crazy for me to sit here and like talk about all of this stuff now that it's been like years and years since like everything that I've talked about in this video has happened. It's crazy to me. It's crazy that like if you just hold on and you just give yourself that little bit of time, things can change. They really can. I don't know, hopefully you got something out of this video. Hopefully you learned a little bit more about me and what my tattoos mean. They're more than just pretty little tattoos on my bod. And yeah, hopefully this video helped you one way or another. If it did, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up and leave me a comment down below. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And other than that, I love you all so much, and I will see you all very soon.